Hello and welcome to a no pressure space invitation into negotiating reality towards tuning common sense. Wherever you found yourself to hearing these words, I'm grateful that you are here. In this first post for my Substack page, Negotiating Reality, I'm seeking to live into my intention of being open and transparent with you, dear reader, on the whys, whats, and hows of this project so that you can make an informed choice on if you'd like to engage with it or not. I'm doing this because I'm committed to honoring your humanity, intellect, and agency. I want to make that clear right here at the beginning of this journey, as I don't think we can get very far together if we don't have that foundation. This is a no pressure place of welcome. What that means is that while I will be offering ideas, my intention is good faith and goodwill communication, not manipulation or coercion. If you see me falling into that trap, I would appreciate you tagging it for me so I can listen, learn, and adjust and better live into my intentions. Being a no pressure place is critical for the ultimate goal of this work, which is cultivating trustworthy consent around reality and notions of common sense. More on this below. If we end up seeing eye to eye, I want it to be because we've both done that work, engaged in the challenge, and never felt pressured, coerced, or incentivized to agree. From that no pressure place, the agreements will be far more trustworthy. To that end, if we don't agree, that's great too. We don't need to agree. Again, more on this below. All we need to do is follow some basic rules, which, as the organizer of this space, I take as my right to set. If you disagree with the rules I set, that's totally fine. Please just do not engage here. I wish you all the best in your endeavors, and I hope you find the right space for you. I describe these rules, called compassionate critique, in my second post. While I am sure there are other ways to do this, these are the rules that I will be enforcing to enable us all to negotiate together. They are set to enable us to work in a trustworthy way together. With that, let's now turn to the whys, whats, and hows. Why this Substack? I'm not sure when I'm crazy, when our culture is, or when both are. I'm also pretty sure I'm not the only one who feels this way right now. If this resonates, please continue to listen. This project is my good faith and goodwill effort in negotiating with you and others about creating a shared sense of reality. My hope is that this work can help us to turn into some common sense, like aphorisms, words of wisdom, common practices, common commitments, and the like, that can help us get along better. What sort of common sense ideas and facets of reality do I want to explore? A lot. To give you a flavor, here are some ideas that are common sense in communities I am part of that I do not consent to. 1. I do not consent to the common sense strategy of assuming linear causality as the default, which is common in many scientific circles I am part of. See my lineage. I do not consent to the common sense strategy of allowing people to create concepts like externalities and waste, which is common in capitalistic societies. 3. I also do not consent to the common sense notion that reason and logic is the highest distinction for being a human, which is a common implicit belief in academia today. While I do not consent to these common sense beliefs, I do have counter proposals that I will offer that can resituate without rejecting these ideas. Each of these ideas has its place. The key is to know when, where, and for whom they are appropriate, and by extension, when, where, and for whom they are not appropriate. As preview, each of these ideas can be situated and understood within the proposed common sense ideas summarized as aphorisms. First, life breathes. Second, context molds. And 3, beings adapt. More on this in the future if you consent to go on this journey with me, the focus of this post, and are willing to use my proposed approach to engaging in good faith and goodwill dialogue in the second post. Thus, I am engaging this project to work with others interested and committed to good faith and goodwill discussions to figure out how we find some common sense together, and from that, start to heal and contribute to the flourishing of people, place, and planet that honors life, love, and light wisdom. So, what might you get out of this? As already stated, my hope is that this project contributes towards creating a trustworthy shared sense of reality that can be used as a foundation to tune trustworthy common sense. It is my belief that we need to reestablish shared reality and common sense to act as the civil foundation that allows society and humanity to work together towards minimizing suffering and fostering mutual flourishing. That is, thus, my hope on what you might get out of this. Well, that's my hope. I can't promise that's going to happen. Indeed, there are many other possibilities of what you might get out of this. For example, engaging here might make you uncomfortable. It might challenge some long held beliefs. Another option is that you might start to feel crazy too, like I often do, nothing more. Another possibility, after you read this, you might think I'm just a stupid fool. Not crazy, just an idiot wasting your time. Since I don't know where you are coming from, I can't predict if you will find any value here. I hope you will, but that hope could very well be delusional. Back to this being a no pressure place, if you ever feel like you need to tap out, go for it. I fully respect your agency to do what you think is right for you. How will this negotiation take place? Still here? Great. Let's talk then about how we are going to negotiate reality together. First, let me state what I mean when I commit to act in good faith and with goodwill. By good faith, I am committed to act to the best of my ability to see, feel, experience, and describe reality as it is, not merely as I might hope or fear it was, is, or might become. By goodwill, I am committed to act to the best of my ability in ways that minimize suffering and contribute towards mutual flourishing. Second, my focus is on getting to a place where we can consent to common sense. Critically, this does not mean that we will necessarily reach consensus. Consent involves defining the zones of tolerance of beliefs. With this, we do not need to fully agree. That would be consensus. Instead, consensual reality or consented reality allows for the gray area where we might not fully agree, but none of us feel drawn to reject or veto an idea either. With this, I'm hoping we can find areas where consent on common sense beliefs can be found, while never forcing consent, and instead honoring the agency, wisdom, and experience in each of us. Third, my basic plan is to write out ideas on critical facets of reality and common sense that are posted as ongoing modules on this Substack page. Following each module, I would invite you, dear reader, to send back suggestions, challenges, questions, and the like. At a basic level, I'd hope you might do things like ask me to clarify anything that you didn't understand, suggest additional perspectives, frames, wisdom traditions, evidence, or the like that I should be aware of. And, of course, challenge the work and ideas with the goal of moving us towards a place where we might find consent together and what might be trustworthy consensual common sense and a shared sense of reality. I'd also welcome you to share with others, particularly those who you know who might not consent to these ideas, so we can negotiate together. With one key caveat, please do share these rules and the second post so that they can understand what they're coming into and to make sure that they're consenting to how we will do this, not necessarily what we will end up agreeing to. For each module, I will build on the work of others, engaging in a process of negotiation between their prior work and my response, reinterpretation, and or extension of that said work. Whenever possible, my plan is to send out a module to targeted people I am referencing to engage in a dialogue with them. I will then post these discussions, if consent is given by those who took part, as podcast episodes for others to engage with. Over time, I hope that this process will produce some wisdom that can then be distilled into a future book or books that can be published and shared widely. I'm interested in a possible future book, again, or books, as a pathway to continue to expand the realm of those who can engage with and ideally consent to some trustworthy shared notions of reality and common sense that can help us to minimize suffering and support mutual flourishing. If I do end up writing books, my intention is to reference this Substack and acknowledge contributions from people like you, dear reader or listener. I will let you know if and when this is happening via Substack and keep you informed on if I intend to mention your name, contributions in such a future book, which of course you can always not consent to when the time comes. What sort of things will we be negotiating? I'm going to intentionally try to go big, so to speak. I'm going to try and put some big ideas out there about all sorts of things. For example, explorations into where we came from, to where are we going, to the meaning of life, to what it means to live a good life, to how do we know what we know, to ideas on to ideas on ways to shift paradigms on modern objective scientific practices, particularly within the realm of my own area of expertise, psychology. Whenever possible, I will try not to create new concepts, and instead will seek to draw ideas already available from humanity's great wisdom traditions. To that end, I will be doing my best to both honor my own lineage as a Western trained scientist and from a European, German, Lutheran, Christian family, while also seeking inspiration, insights, and resonance from other great wisdom traditions from across the globe. When I engage with work that is outside my own lineage, my intention is to do so with humility, respect, curiosity, and appreciation, with a particular eye to seek to engage with the work without falling into the trap of acting beyond my own knowledge, practice, and expertise. Specifically, I will reference others' work and point to that work that I drew inspiration from and invite those who might find my interpretation of the work interesting for them to engage with the original source. As I do this, my focus is much more on curation and synthesis over creation and analysis. By curation, I will intentionally not offer all references and resources guiding me, which would draw me into getting stuck into the minutiae. There is, of course, a time and a place for that type of work. This just isn't it. I will, however, provide major works of particular influence on me for a particular line of thought, as I did in this introduction, and then include bibliography at the end with a link so you can review the original material yourself. And when I'm drawing from outside of my own lineage and areas of expertise, I will bias towards offering more references rather than less to ensure others can properly check my work and get connected to the source directly, instead of only via a mediated experience through me. Regarding synthesis, if anything new might come from this, is seeking to link together seemingly disparate ideas and approaches from different worldviews, cultures, ways of knowing, disciplines, etc. That said, I'm not trying to link every concept, theory, wisdom tradition, or the like together. Again, there is a time and a place for those types of activities, such as the work of integral theorists like Ken Wilber. That is not the focus here, though. Instead, I'm hoping, through a healthy mixture of curation and synthesis, that we can get to some nice, clean aphorisms, words of wisdom, and the like, that we can consent to use together when navigating the world together. For example, I mentioned above the first three modular aphorisms I plan to propose to explore with you all. Life breathes, context molds, beings adapt. I suggest that, when understood and when used together, these 6 words provide a very valuable metaphysical foundation, meaning a summary of how life works and how humans work within the container of life, that we might want to consider using within society as a common sense. But I'm getting ahead of myself again, aren't I? We'll get to that in good time. Finally, as this is a negotiation, I will also invite you, dear reader, to suggest topic areas to explore together, and I welcome references to prior work, wisdom traditions, people, and the like that you find valuable in helping you create your working understanding of reality as it is and to articulate what common sense is for you. What's next? Still here? Wow, amazing. I'm impressed and grateful you took the time today. Really, truly, thank you. With this, it's time for you to choose. If you consent to go on this journey, then please sign up on my Substack page. Once you do, you get regular email updates as the invitations for taking part. In addition, please feel free to share this link with others who might be interested in engaging in this process of negotiation together. Eventually, I hope to then have a podcast set up and will likely set up a Patreon page to enable those who feel so called to contribute towards this effort to do so, which I will then use for things like paying for technical support, providing honoraria for those I invite to a podcast if they desire or need, or if there ends up being a really large following, donating to others who are doing good work in resonance with this. In the next post, I propose the rules for negotiating reality and common sense that I've been co-developing in my classes for several years now with my colleague Elizabeth Eike, that we've called Compassionate Critique. Look forward to engaging with you on that next time. And the key bibliography references included one piece called The Difference Between Whole Group Consensus and Dynamic Governance, When is consensus knowledge based? Distinguishing shared knowledge from mere agreement. The constitution of knowledge. Democracy and solidarity. Integral polarity practice in service of leadership for flourishing, and a theory of everything.